Hey there, and welcome into Peterborough Conversations, another episode as we continue our series of chats with people who are making news all over the community. And one thing that I'm just super excited to talk about is Volunteer Peterborough. And we're here with Lois Tuffin, who is the chair of the steering committee. I hope I got that right.
That's correct.
How's it going?
It is amazing. We're on fire. It's just been the best time. Yeah.
So, how does this, for those out there who aren't familiar with Volunteer Peterborough, how does this all get started and how long has it been around?
Oh, it's an interesting story. Do you remember when Jagmeet Singh was here and he got yelled down by
Yeah,
the loud people?
I was there. I was in yeah, I was
Yes.
covering it. Yeah.
So a bunch of us watched that happen and went, "Oh my Lord, what is happening? This is not who Peterborough is." So we started brainstorming about what was going on, why, and how we could turn it around. And essentially, what we came to the conclusion is people were kind of disconnected and they were getting sucked into this vortex of negativity. What if we gave them something constructive to do? And as we started looking into what was going on with nonprofits, we discovered they had lost a lot of volunteers during COVID and people weren't coming back and they were really struggling. Meanwhile, we had a bunch of people who were like, I need something to do. I want to be part of my communities. So all these things kind of happen at once. So we have created basically a giant conduit. So we find volunteers, we sign up, we have 985 volunteers, and we have a website that is a combination dating site, job search site. We built our own. And so people can get matched up with their time requirement, their passion, their skills, so that they type in who they are and what they want to do, and it pops up, well, the Humane Society has something for you, or the hospital has something for you, and it matches what you have.
Why do you think people were so hesitant to come back after COVID? Does anyone
Anxiety,
know? Yeah.
social anxiety plays a huge part of it. Before, people would just call up the hospital and go, I think I want to volunteer. What do you got? Now, Jordan, when was the last time somebody called you and did not text you first?
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Of course.
So
Yeah.
society has changed. So now, before people want to get into a volunteer role, they want to know what it is, if it fits, if it fits their values, if it fits their schedule. So it's almost overwhelming to think of all these charities and who has a job right now that suits me. So we have taken out that anxiety. We've made it a simpler search. People don't socialize the same way they used to.
Hmm.
They don't trust organizations as much as they used to.
You know what I always thought was interesting was, especially for, say, you were a student, for example, and you needed to
Oh,
get 40
yes.
hours. Right when you get into high school, and there's always a bit of a crunch that like you kind of want to finish your community hours before you start working part time because then you're kind of getting into a different spot. But I'd always think to myself, I'd be like, I don't know who needs volunteers. I don't know anything
I
like
know.
that. And a tool like this would be perfect for people like that.
Yeah, the way it used to work is at GE, you would go to work and all your buddies would say, "Oh, I belong to this or that," and then they would they would recruit you basically. And now people working at home are disconnected a little more, and students, maybe their parents don't volunteer because of whatever dynamics are going on. So we are really working with high school students. So we have an event coming up on May 8th, and we are actually busing in high school students from Holy Cross and Crestwood so that they can get their hours.
Yeah.
It's tricky because there are so many groups that could use that young energy, but they aren't making it clear.
That's
Yeah.
part of the thing. So when it's amazing, and you ran down a couple of options that would be available through this website, and there is no shortage of companies
Mm-hmm.
or organizations or
Mm-hmm.
nonprofits. I mean, almost every single one of them, in some way, shape, or form, needs volunteer help, right?
And even people that say to us, "Well, why don't we use volunteers?" I say, "Do you have a board of directors?" "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah." So that leadership piece, and what's happening in the city. I was asked to join 6 boards in the last 6 months. Can't do it, okay? And don't call me nonsense,
Yeah.
because
We'll put Lois's number on the bottom of the screen.
I only have so much time. But I am someone who has a track record of being part of a board and being effective. But we need new people. We need new voices at the table. So one of the things that we are doing in memory of Tom Phillips, who was this amazing Trent University professor who was part of our group before his untimely death, he said to us, we need to get those people who are 25, not just to volunteer to pick up garbage and set up tables and hand out water bottles. We need to get them at the table so that their voices are heard and that they become the future leaders. So that's part of our mandate as well, is getting people to not only do hands-on volunteering, which is very rewarding, And sometimes if you're busy and you just want to drop into one city and help out for a couple hours, or the, whatever, community care, and drive for a couple of hours a week. But there's also the ability for you to get more involved in the future of an organization.
That's sort of a 30,000 feet above level. Why do you think it is important in 2024 for people to volunteer with various causes?
It really connects you and educates you as to what's happening. Like, people say, I don't understand why people are homeless. I don't understand why mental illness is an issue. I don't understand why kids don't have food and they go to school and they have to eat breakfast programs. The best way to learn is to go and sit with people who either volunteer with them or sit and talk to the people that are there. So when you serve someone a meal at a drop-in center, you get to hear their stories and realize that, hey, they used to be in this thing and this thing derailed their lives, or this kid is like that because their family had a breakdown and whatever. It teaches you about those root causes, and there's more compassion, which makes you then go out and explain to other people what is going on. Once you have that understanding, you become more resilient. You don't feel powerless. Like, it just makes society better informed and more cohesive. That's what we're trying to pull together.
You threw out some of the figures of the people who have come to this website and they're looking. Does that surprise you? You're somebody who's much more familiar, been around Peterborough longer than me, but there's always this reputation of, how giving a community it is, and certainly we see that with charities. Does it shock you, the fact that this has been that successful, or not at all?
We knew there was going to be a tsunami, so we've been trying to stay ahead of it. We're trying to pace it a little because it's been really big for us. We knew that we would have a lot of volunteers that were interested. So the fact that we have almost 1,000 is not surprising. I want 10,000 people ultimately, but not today. Because our biggest challenge right now is the organizations onboarding them. So we have 120, and they have a lot of jobs posted, but they're so under the gun that they feel they have time to do this. And we've been trying really hard to reinforce the return on investment. So, like, one person said to us, I'm too busy to do this. I said, spend an hour. They spent an hour. They got 4 board members. We had another organization that, needed 1 volunteer. They took the 15 minutes. They put up their listing. They got 3. So there is a real appetite for people to help. Obviously, when people see the job, they jump on it. We're seeing a lot of college students or people that are underemployed that are trying to boost their job skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, people just need to navigate to where they're trying to go in life.
Meet Your Match Fair. Now, you kind of
Oh,
referenced it a little bit earlier, but take me through what exactly people can expect at this event.
yeah. So a lot of the things we do are online. So we have this online portal where people go. We also have an office at the Chamber of Commerce where people can go and meet a person. And some people don't want to do online.
Sure.
So that's why we thought, let's do an in-person event. So we have 40 organizations that are coming to the YMCA on May 8th from noon to 4. So come on your lunch hour, come after your workout, come after school, right after school. So we are having an in-person event, and it's going to be a celebration of volunteering. So we are going to have turtles there from the Turtle Trauma Center. We're going to have animals there. We're going to have children's groups there, environmental groups. Your TV is going to set up a play-by-play booth so you can pretend to be, Pete Dallady calling the game. There's some really cool interactive stuff going on. And we're going to have a speaker's corner where people can talk about why they volunteer, what they're looking for, so we can collect those stories. But basically, we're going to fill the gym with people that are going to say, this is what we do. This is why people want to volunteer with us. These are the jobs we have. Do you think you can fit in with us? And people can shop around 40 organizations in one place.
Very cool stuff. And we will
Yeah.
post all of that information
Thank you.
in the box below. So
Yeah, it's just, we want to make sure that volunteers feel appreciated. And so first we're trying to find them. We're trying to connect them with the right person to the right job, and then really just say thank you for giving your time. Anyone who volunteers already, thank you. You're changing lives.
Lois Tuffin, chair of the steering committee for Volunteer Peterborough. I encourage you to go on and check volunteerpeterborough.ca.
Thanks, Jordan.